Hi, I'm Cody with Wall Street Breakdown. It's Monday, the 18th of September, and we're back. It's a market recap. Now, before we get into the market recap, I'd like to cover a couple of things with you. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel or you're returning and you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, go ahead below. Click the subscribe button, click the little notifications bell, leave a comment, leave a like, do all that stuff. And if you've got anything that you'd like to see, feel free to hit us up. We love to talk to people, so we want to find out what exactly you want to see, what's prudent to what you're doing. We don't know what you're investing in personally, but trust me, if you ask me a lot of questions, I probably have a lot of answers. So if you want, if you need, if there's something out there that you'd like me to touch on, feel free, drop us a line. Let's get a conversation going. Second, we do a lot of videos. Now, we cover the gamut of a lot of companies. There's a lot of different things people could be invested in, but I find that a lot of videos leads to a lot of people having to click a whole lot of different stuff, and it might not be as streamlined for you if you like to just sit back and listen. So what we're going to try, and I emphasize the word try, is doing a much larger market recap and giving people a much more girthy chance to take a look at what happened in the market that day. And all the keywords and tags should be down in the descriptions. My editor should have all that stuff there, so anything you're looking for should be easy to click up and find out if it's in the market recap for that day. And if it was big news, it probably should be. And then on the side, we'll probably do 1 or 2 videos of really big topics that happen in that day, but only if it's really prudent to a topic that's large enough to consume a 4 or 5 minute video. Now, if you like the shorter videos, the 1 or 2 minute videos, please let me know. Again, in the comments, that's the best place where you can let me know what exactly you want to see. Maybe you want a lot more topic-specific videos, and you don't want to hear me go on and on for 20 minutes. It's really your call. I like going on and on. Let's find out what happened. In the Dow, we're up 22,331. That's up 63. And that's a 5th straight record-breaking close for the Dow Jones Industrial Averages. It's pretty tough for me to have a problem with that. I definitely don't. I would imagine that you probably don't either. American economy just keeps trucking along. Everybody down there's loving it. The hurricane stuff is over. I think all the doom and gloom is probably behind us. While people are talking about a lull in the second half of September now, it seems like people are always talking about a problem that's around the corner. I'm not interested in your potential problems. I deal in the facts. If things are going well and things are going well, I'm digging it. S&P 2503 up 364, up very nominally 3.64. The TSX had another big day, 15,236, closed up 63. That's a big day up in Canada again. In Canada, we didn't have a lot of news. There wasn't a whole lot going on, but I think we're really feeling things, especially, like there was a bit of blowback. I don't have it on here. There's a bit of blowback about interest rates going up in Canada. The Bank of Canada really reassessing where the country's going. We had the information last week that said that Canadian debt holder, Canadian debt's at an all-time high. People are spending something like $1.68 for every dollar of money that they earn. That makes me definitely a little trepidatious for my fellow Canadians. But on the flip side of things, I also understand where we were coming from. And I would imagine that while people who had credit available might have overextended themselves, as jobs and industry pick back up, I would like to believe that a lot of my Canadian brethren are gonna rein it in financially and be able to figure it out. So let's take a look at some stuff that actually happened in the world of finance. CF Industries, a major nitrogen fertilizer company, they do like manufacturing, production, everything of fertilizer, up 6.7%. There was really no reason for CF Industries to be up. There was another fertilizer company, got an upgrade early in the morning, and CF Industries just happened to take off. They're trading around 35.10 right now, I believe. There wasn't really too much reason, but they took off well. They're trading right around the top end of their 52-week range. I think that's like 37.17 or something. So it was a good day for CF Industries. AMD and Nvidia, both of these guys, 4.5 and 4.1 respectively. I mean, we've seen the semiconductors. They were up on big news from DRAM news on Friday, and this just continues that. There was no news. Nothing happened at either of these companies that brings anything up. It's just a matter of Nvidia and AMD just flat out. The DRAM and just the semiconductors as a whole is just having a heck of a year in 2017. We're just letting it ride. Northrop Grumman, a big defense company, big defense contractor, does a lot of work with the United States government. They were up 3.3%, obviously. I mean, the news, we're going to get to it. I'm going to explain why Northrop Grumman was up, so we're going to get to that down here. Obviously, you can see they bought Orbital ATK. That was a really big deal, bringing in a company. So, I mean, Northrop Grumman up 3.3%. Orbital was up 20%, I believe. Mattel down 6.2%. Mattel has been down all year. Mattel's trading at like $14.87 at the end of the day today. And I believe Mattel was trading, it's got to be upwards of $30 less than 12 months ago. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems on the Mattel side. There's a lot of problems on the retail end. And this is a lot of blowback from this story right here where Toys R Us, the rumor is that Toys R Us could be actually filing for bankruptcy as early as this week. So, I mean, we don't know. It's impossible for me to tell, but the rumors are definitely out there. Mattel felt it. Jakks Pacific felt it. Hasbro felt it. Major toy makers all down across the board. It's just, it's not doing well when one of your major retailers is saying they're going to be closing their doors or could potentially be closing their doors, right? If we lose Toys R Us to bankruptcy, all these major toy deals, it doesn't matter that JCPenney happens to be getting back into the toy section here for the holidays, and let's hope going forward, because toys are fantastic. Everybody should have toys in their life, but at this point in time, it's not looking good for Mattel, Hasbro, Jakks Pacific, the publicly traded companies that deal with Toys R Us as a major retailer of theirs in a way to get their products into people's hands. They're still going to get in their hands via Amazon, but you know what? I've had more than one time, I'll just tell you a little anecdote. I'm a bit of a toy guy, so we'll get into a little anecdote about toys. There's a lot of times that I don't really want a toy. I see a toy, it's previewed on the internet, I'm really not too emboldened to go out and get it. I walk into a Toys R Us, not an Amazon, where I could have purchased that toy, and I see the toy physically, the sculpt physically, the actual toy in my hand, and I find myself quite enjoying it, and a lot of the times picking something up that I wasn't planning on picking up before. This leads us to why we need to have Toys R Us, bro. Seriously, I don't want to have to crapshoot all my wrestlers off of Amazon. I like walking into Toys R Us. I like taking my kids there. I like the atmosphere. You know, it makes you feel like a kid. Life is too short. Places like Toys R Us that should be a staple in your life. You should go there once a week just to put a smile on your face. Chipotle down 3.6%. Chipotle is just eating it, are they not? I mean, they're a restaurant. They should be eating it, but they are eating it financially. They're trading at a 301 right now. It's $301 a share. They were trading, I think, $480 in May. $480 to $300. That's a bad summer. That is the worst summer you could possibly plan on having at Chipotle. And these guys were the darlings of the market for years, just a couple of years ago. And as far as I'm concerned, still way out to lunch as far as overpriced. I know they've got a lot of potential for expansion and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I think a lot of the momentum that Chipotle had from the media, everybody wanted to be a part of it. I think that momentum's a little bit gone now. I think that's kind of dissipated, and bad news really does affect them. I mean, you see it drop 480 to 300, and it's probably a bit of a correction on the fact that the expansion definitely is going to happen just internationally, like it looked like the company was going to take off at the beginning. But still, I think, they're just a little overinflated. They've been taking a big hit, knocking them down. CenturyLink was up on Friday. No news today, just a bit of a correction, down 3.5%. I only put that on there just to show you, like we talked about last week, like we talked about all the time, sometimes the market is totally bipolar, has no reason why CenturyLink should be up or CenturyLink should be down. In this case, CenturyLink down just like they were up on Friday. Okay, so we talked about Toys R Us. This bankruptcy thing seems like it's going to be a real issue. It seems like bankruptcy for Toys R Us is totally on the table. It's something that could be on the table as early as this week. I would imagine that Toys R Us probably gets taken private if this ends up happening. I can't see Toys R Us going away entirely. Maybe that's just a bit of a pipe dream on my end, but it is what it is. Northrop Grumman buys Orbital ATK for $9.2 billion, or that's going to be $7.8 billion in cash and $1.4 in assumption of debt from Orbital. This is Northrop's first big purchase in a long time with a company that's in the exact same sector as them. And Northrop is a huge company. This is a big purchase. This is really going to help Northrop penetrate more Department of Defense contracts in the missile sector. I mean, Orbital ATK is definitely a much more focused in type of company than Northrop that really covers the scope. This is going to bring in a lot of technology, a lot of good, smart people. This is a heck of a coup for Northrop Grumman. And I mean, when you talk about, Northrop and Lockheed and UTX, there's not a lot of major companies fighting for these large U.S. government contracts when you see a company like Northrop that I'm sure a lot of people, if you've been in the market for a long time, you've probably found yourself in a fund, definitely an index, but maybe even directly invested in Northrop Grumman. This is a very, very big purchase for Northrop Grumman. We said the Dow was up. 5th straight record day, the Dow's up. I don't know if people comprehend when I say they're up a record day. This is the highest that Dow number has ever been. This is definitely the benchmark. The Dow, industrial averages, the Dow 30, that is your benchmark there. 5th day in a row, highest. You tell me how this market's doing. Equifax. Oh, man, I'm getting sick of talking about Equifax. Equifax had another breach, not related to the breach that we heard about that happened in July, that we heard about here a couple of weeks ago, that's been just killing Equifax, just destroying them. So that's obviously being investigated. They say it has no relation to it. That happened in March. We had an Equifax CFO and 2 heads of 2 divisions step down because of trading that happened right after that they found that there was this breach of data. They're saying, obviously, there's no relation to it, right? But, I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not here to tell anybody that allegations should determine somebody's, freedom or not. But, you've already been part of a company that's done something that's going to cause all their shareholders to lose a bunch of money, cause to bring your company's, intentions, your company's quality into question, and you're going to then infringe on those shareholders further by you selling your stuff still when the price is high and think that it's okay and you get away with it, and then just say like, well, I didn't have an idea that there was any kind of a problem. Sure you didn't. Sure you didn't. In Canada, I guess we'll go over to Canada and talk about that. I'll work my way back down to this Sprint one, which is a nice little adjustment story. I like this Sprint one. Trudeau in Canada said that, Boeing is up a lot this year. Boeing is the darling of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Again, the benchmark up there. They're up the most in the Dow Jones Industrial Average this year. The biggest gain by absolutely a mile. There's a $5.2 billion deal on the table between the government of Canada and Boeing for some F-18 Super Hornets for what I can only imagine is our military, unless maybe we're just going to get some really sweet jets. I don't know, maybe we're all going to get to try them out. I go first. I'm pointing the news out. I think I should go first, right? See, Trudeau's trying to step in because there was this anti-dumping violation, which means like you're selling this for lower than the market price has been agreed upon inside the little market that you work in. Boeing, Airbus, Bombardier, they all work within these principles. And there's an anti-dumping. You can't go sell something for significantly less than it costs you to build just so that you can penetrate the market. And Boeing has called Bombardier out on this on a deal that they've done with Delta. Well, Trudeau's trying to get involved. Oh, God, yeah. Like, anybody cares what Trudeau's trying to do. Like, he's going to affect Boeing, right? He's saying they're going to maybe cancel this order if Boeing doesn't let it go. Like, stay out of the business. Seriously. You're a politician, right? I understand this is a Canadian company, but you have no business, first off, even making mention of why this is happening. This has nothing but the right to go to trial if that's where it ends up. And Boeing has every right to question this trade, and Bombardier has every right in the world to defend themselves and prove that everything was done with the best of intentions. But as far as Trudeau getting involved, you're a clown in office already, I think, as far as I can tell from most people I talk to. Don't get involved in business. You're not a business guy. If we start talking about hair gel, though, bro, we're coming right back to you, and we're going to get some opinion. It didn't affect Boeing. Boeing was up again today, and it didn't affect the Canadian markets. Canadian markets were up as well. I don't think Canadian markets really rally on the back of anything Trudeau says, so I don't think that really affected it either. Adidas had a heck of an earnings call. Do you remember Adidas's earnings call back in, man, I think it was late July? I was pretty psyched about Adidas's earnings call. Adidas's sales for their athletic footwear in the United States has moved into second place. There were drop-offs with Nike, who's still in first place, and the Jordan brand, which is considered its own brand of shoes, into third place, which let Adidas move into second. Adidas is doing a heck of a job. Like, I don't know when and where Adidas turned the corner. I know there was a lot of talk about Adidas having a lot more fashion sense. Adidas really, like going out there and striking while the iron's hot. They were doing things right, and people seem to really be enjoying their brand and the way that we're laying it out, the way that it was designed. It seemed to be really catching on with a lot of people who are purchasing it. And that's all well and good because people can tell you your stuff is great till you're blue in the face, but this is actually translated into jumping the Jordan brand here. An earnings call that back in July, I believe it was late July, smoked Under Armour, smoked Nike. These other earnings calls were nothing even comparison to where Adidas was. So Adidas coming out looking great again with more statistics just showing that Adidas' brand in the United States is growing. This is a brand that almost went bankrupt not long ago. I mean, these guys are getting it in order. If you're thinking about doing any kind of investing, don't get me all, I'm not getting you all hot and bothered over what I'm telling you here. You need to speak to a licensed professional financial advisor. You need to do your own due diligence, do your own research. Please, you don't know if any of this stuff fits into the allocation that your portfolio needs. I implore you to please get as much assistance from professionals and make all the right choices that you yourself are basing on what's good for your financial situation, not just because I like Adidas. And I do like Adidas. Caterpillar got upgraded. Caterpillar is another, they're doing excellent. They're doing so good on the Dow. And they're saying that the upgrade was at UBS. And the UBS guys are saying that the private non-residential building is going up so significantly that they see CAT moving even more product than CAT already is. So they gave them an upgrade. They're saying CAT could, between 2018 and 2020, have upwards of $10 billion in net income available. So they could be redistributing that back to a lot of investors. They could be doing a lot of stuff in regards to research and development. I'm sure the next level of technology, when you start talking autonomous vehicles on one end and what Caterpillar does on the other end, there's going to be a lot of merging of marketplaces in the near future. Caterpillar has a lot of room to run. Caterpillar has a lot of growth as the world economy continues to pick up, and Caterpillar is obviously the leader in that. And Caterpillar has a lot of, they got a lot of moxie. They are not somebody that's going to sit idly by. They like to go out and push, and Caterpillar's doing a heck of a job of keeping people's attention in what should be a fairly boring industrial equipment market. It shouldn't be anything that stirs up too many hornets' nests, but UBS had to come out this morning and just say, we've been looking into Caterpillar and we still think it's undervalued. The iPhone pre-order estimates. The iPhone pre-order estimates say that usually the iPhone over the weekend, that first weekend, pushes the pre-order estimates into the 3 to 4 week range. So if you went in on a Monday after a pre-order started on a Friday, you should probably be told that you could expect your delivery 3 to 4 weeks after launch date. That's how far the pre-orders push things. Well, this time for the watch, the Apple Watch, it did just that. It actually succeeded quite well. The Apple Watch found itself pushing 3 to 4 weeks. We got a 3 to 4 week timetable on an Apple Watch. It already has a 97% satisfaction rating. I'm really excited about this watch, in fact. I might even go out and get one for myself. I'm not wearing a watch today. I don't even know what time it is. I'm stuck in this windowless basement. Who knows what time it is? It's market news time. That's what time it is, fella. But anyways, this watch is doing so well. But the phone, the 8 and the 8 Plus, they find themselves only at about a week to 2 week wait time for pre-orders as of this morning, which is not near what the pre-orders were supposed to be. Now, Apple imagines, and I would imagine a lot of analysts and a lot of other people imagine, that people want to wait for the iPhone 8X. If you've got money allocated to this already, you are going to go out and get the 8X. But just coming out of the weekend with the pre-orders and the pushback last week after we got all the news from Apple, it just makes everybody a little bit, it puts me in the doldrums a little bit about Apple. I want to be excited. I want to be going into the Christmas season. I want to know that Apple's going to blow it out of the water third and fourth quarter. And right now I just feel like Apple is kind of just treading water a little bit. Doesn't everybody else? Like, they're not leading in any major sectors right now. This watch is doing good, but what a small segment. Like, I mean, it's such a small segment. The Apple TV's not doing anything bonkers. This phone was the real crux of their second half. When this phone comes out, there better be astonishing reviews. This better come out early November and crush reviews going into Christmas. I can't see any other way that they can salvage this other than to consider this being kind of kind of a break even between production delays and OLED problems and the whole 9 yards. Apple, I kind of expect more. I'm imagining a lot of people that invest in Apple expect more as well. Walmart's headquarters, Walmart is going to be building a new headquarters sometime in the next 5 to 7 years. They say they've kind of outgrown the headquarters that they've got. It's going to be in Bentonville, Arkansas. It's going to house about 17,000 employees roughly. Walmart says, you know, the old headquarters are old and we just aren't being able to be as efficient as we want to be here at Walmart with the headquarters that we got. So we need better headquarters. We're Walmart. We've got all the money in the world. We're going to build it. I'm sure the people in Brenton, Arkansas like to hear that all these jobs are going to be created. There's nothing wrong with having a major company inside your city. There was no quote on the price or how much things are going to cost. This is just in the preliminary stages, but 5 to 7 years was the timetable. The Google EU antitrust case that's been going on for a while has Google and the EU making back and forth lobbies of who should do what. See, what's going on is Google has this issue where when you go to Google and search a product, the product will pop up in the description bar. It'll pop up in the advertisements. But a lot of those advertisements, most of those advertisements will lead you to Google affiliated sites that will then sell you those products. Even if those products isn't the cheapest price from the most reputable source. I'm not saying a source from Google isn't the most reputable, but if you could get it cheaper from, let's say, Amazon or Best Buy, and they're just as reputable, if not more so, you'd think that advertisement would pop up, and the EU has a problem with that. And Google said that they offered 3 years ago to allow the main two advertisements to still be theirs, but the other ones to go ahead and be up for auction. Let other people bid for how much they want to be on that front page when those search results come out. And what the EU wants is, I think they want all of those advertisements, little advertisement plugs there, to be up for auction, which I'm not sure if Google really wants that or they don't. Like, they've never really come out and said they don't. I'm sure they could charge an arm and a leg for it. I think they were just trying to get away on the other end with, you know, building some of their other business through what happens to be their best medium, and that's their search engine. The EU kind of caught on to it. It hasn't really worked out as well as they thought that it would. It's definitely been dragging through court for a while, but it's probably something where they're going to come to a fairly amicable resolution that probably works out still in favor to Google, and we're all going to move along, but we've been hearing about it for a while because anything that gets into the government's hands, it seems to take an eternity to get figured out. Who'd have thought? Coors closes on Jimmy Choo, so Michael Kors, Jimmy Choo done. The board of directors over at Jimmy Choo voted unanimously to close that deal. Michael Kors and Jimmy Choo are now one company, and finishing off Sprint. Now, Sprint had a deal where you trade in your Apple iPhone 7. They take 50% off the lease price of a new Apple iPhone 8 or 8 Plus. Now they've said, if you bring in an Apple iPhone 7, we are going to give you a free 18-month lease with the trade-in for an 8 or an 8 Plus. Now, what they're going to do is anybody who got the promotion before this, say you got it on Friday, and then the previous promotion was still, you're only going to get 50% off your lease, what they're going to do is they're going to bump up that promotion for you for free. You're going to get that 18-month lease, 100% for free for the 8 or the 8X or the 8 Plus if you traded in a 7 model. Now, if you trade in an older model, I don't believe they go back much further than the 6, but if you trade in the 6 or another model that's equivalent, I believe they're going to be then doing the 50% off the lease deal. So they've definitely bumped more people up into the category and been much more gracious with the people trading in the 7, and they should be, because AT&T's deal with the buy one, get one still blows them out of the water. I'm Cody. This is Wall Street Breakdown for the 18th of September. I think we're doing a bit better with the bigger board, but I really want you to let me know how you feel about all these stories being consolidated to what is about a 24-minute video, but I thought we really got covered on a lot of topics that were important, hopefully, to your portfolio, and covered them with a little bit of pizzazz, wouldn't you say? I'd say so. Anyways, I'm Cody for Wall Street Breakdown. Click the subscribe button, notification button, like the video, leave some comments. If not for my excellent taste in clothes or my orating ability, at least for the financial information that I provide you, I don't think that's too bad at all. Thanks for stopping by.